Hello and welcome to the first session of the Rebbitzins dating series. I'm very excited to share with you tonight Rachel Goldbaum's approach to dating, which is called directed dating. It's a very directed approach to dating, which takes you from step to step until success. Rachel and many other dating mentors have really seen tremendous success from this method and tremendous clarity. I know that this might sound contradictory, but I really look at this method of directed dating as a science. I really believe that it's a black and white system that really can help the process of dating so much easier. I know I'm probably speaking to a broad crowd. I'm sure there's age difference, stage differences, and maybe even hashkafa level differences. But I believe that this program can really be adjusted to fit any level. We will have a question and answer at the end, so feel free to save your questions for them. Okay, so the Rebbitzins created this night as an opportunity to hear about successful dating. So the question is, how can we set ourselves up for successful dating? And I'm going to use the acronym SET to explain that to you. I'm going to start with the letter S. S is for a staircase. Dating is compared to a staircase. Staircases come in many different sizes. Some are a few steps, some are many steps, but they all have steps. Every single one of you have a different staircase. Some of you might climb your staircase only in 3 or 4 steps. And some of you might need 40 steps to climb your staircase. But the common denominator is, and it doesn't matter what your staircase is, but the common denominator is that we take the steps 1 step at a time. When we're comfortable on the first step, when we're comfortable where we're at, we're able to move up to the second step and advance the relationship. And when we feel comfortable on the second step, we can move forward. I feel that a lot of girls are ready on the first step, on the first date. They jump right in and they're like, oh, could I be married to this man? Could I wake up every morning to this man? Can this guy be the father to my children? But that's jumping to the 20th step. And that's dangerous. And that's damaging. When we're on the first step, it's a very basic level of acquaintance. It's just getting to know the person. It's like having a Shabbos guest at your house. Obviously, you're going to be friendly and talkative and move the conversation, but it's really at a very basic level. The way the progress goes, it goes from acquaintance to friend, to good friend, to best friend, and obviously to partner. And, you know, as you climb up the staircase, we get closer and closer and closer in our relationship. Now, if we think about when we were in high school and we were creating friendships, it took longer than 10 steps, 10 dates, 20 dates, so to speak. It took years to create that relationship. So, you know, we think, how is it possible for us to create this relationship so quickly? And Hashem, in his intimate wisdom, created that magnetic pull towards the other gender to move the process along quicker. And I like to compare it to those escalated walkways in the airport, those long hallways that have the running conveyor belts that you can walk on. So you're walking, but that's like excelling you further and making you go quicker. And that's how I like to compare it to that magnetic connection that Hashem has created for us. if a staircase is compared to the dating process, then the handrail would be compared to the mentor. And we here at the Rebbitzins program are here to help you through this process. We are that calming handrail for you to help you proceed from step to step. A mentor is like an outside force that doesn't really have any emotional connections to what's going on to you. Your mother would be very emotional about your dating, and it would be hard for her to really guide you in the correct way, being that she's so emotionally involved. A shadchan also is biased, honestly. Of course, as shadchanim, we all want the shidduch to work. So she might not be the best person either. What you need to help you move from step to step is a calm outside person to not make the decisions for you. A mentor is not making the decisions for you, but she's just guiding you and helping make the decisions with you in a very calm way. We will learn in the next sessions how to excel the relationship from step to step. I'll just briefly say it, we start with the head and then we move down to the heart, which is obviously the emotional connection. So we will, Amir Tashem, get to that in later series. Okay, so that's the S, the step. So to keep in mind that we're on a staircase, we're moving gradually, step by step, not jumping 3 at a time, but taking it slow. And obviously our hope is that we're moving upwards. Okay, let's move on to E in the word set. E stands for erase your images, erase the image. The biggest obstacle I feel today is our image that we create before going out. We all, in our minds, think about what our chassan is going to look like, who he's going to be like. Will he be like my father? Will he be like my best friend's husband? And honestly, that's really a huge mistake. And that's why we really have to erase the image and really come to the first date with a clean screen. We have to clear our screen. And I'll tell you why. No two people are exactly the same. So if you say, I really wish I could marry someone just like my best friend's husband, but that husband exists already. So it's impossible for you to have someone just like him because he exists and no two people are the same. Or if you say, I wish I could just marry someone exactly like my father, but sorry, your father's taken already. So really what we have to do is really move away from creating that Mr. Potato Head, if you're allowed to say that anymore, but moving away from that Mr. Potato Head and putting all our wants into this imaginable person, which obviously will never be. So that's very important, to erase your image. And a nice tool is to close your eyes and think about wrapping up this image, putting it in a box and throwing it far, far away into the ocean. Just throw it away and come to that first date with a very clean, empty screen. Approach that first date with tremendous curiosity. It could be exciting. You don't know what you're going to see. And really try to throw that image away. The second part of image is not your image, what we just spoke about, but other people's image, what other people are going to say. And it's a huge obstacle in dating, when we think about what our friends are going to say. This is who she ended up with. This is what the guy looks like. This is who her family is that she got into. And it's very important to really think to ourselves and really think deep and ask ourselves a very, very important question. Why do we want to get married? You know, I know it's a thing to do, but it's good to stop and think, why do we want to get married? And if we really delve into that question, we will realize that getting married is not a solution. Okay, we don't get married for a solution. We get married for an opportunity. So what's the opportunity? The opportunity is to be able to grow through someone else. So basically, every person has holes. No one's perfect. Every person has holes. He has holes and I have holes. And he will fill my holes and I will fill his holes. And together, then we will become whole with a W. So when we know that no one is perfect, and the main thing that we're looking for is if I am able to deal with his holes and be able to help him through his holes, and if I feel good when I'm with him, and I feel that he can fill my holes so that we can grow together, that is the right approach to getting married. When we can understand that that is what marriage is all about, then it doesn't matter what other people say. I mean, we know what other people's gossip is. It's a 5-minute dining room table talk and that's it. Then they move on to the next gossip, 5 minutes later. We are the ones going home with this young man and we're the ones that are going to live with him. So our main focus has to be, can I feel good together with this guy? And can I grow together with him to create a wholesome pair? We have to, the reality is that we really can't let other people's conversations make our decisions on who we are going to marry. Can we grow with him? That's what counts. So that's the E. So twofold: erase my image and what I think he's going to be, and erase other people's images, because really the only person that it matters to is me. And if I can grow with him and I feel good with him, that's all that matters. Okay, moving on to T, trust. Trust yourself. You are the smartest person in your life. You know when you feel comfortable, when you feel safe, and you know when something doesn't feel right. And again, there's two parts to this trust. You have to think to yourself, is it your gut that's telling you something's wrong, or is it just a fear? Is it a general fear that you would have with every boy? Is it a fear of intimacy? Is it a fear of commitment? Is it a fear of divorce? Are you actually having a fear of, oh my gosh, this actually might be the right one because I really like him? And then you're coming up with 101 excuses of why this might not be right because you have the fear. And don't get me wrong, fear is a wonderful thing. If you wouldn't be afraid, I would be nervous. Marriage is huge. It's a huge commitment. And you do need a healthy dose of fear. But we have to really trust ourselves and know where that fear is coming from. And again, the Rebbitzins program is here through dating coaching to help you peel away those layers and really get down to the truth to see what the fear is. Is it a general fear? Or is it maybe something very specific, which might be a problem, And that's something that the dating coach will work out with you. There's a flip side to this as well. You need to trust your gut, that if you feel that there's something not right about this and you honestly feel there's some red flags, trust your gut, but not your butt. But on his resume, he sounds like such a great guy. but my mother really likes him, but he's really nice. But no, if you feel that there's something really shouting out red flags, you have to trust your gut and be strong and firm and say, it's not for me, and move on. Okay, so there we have the first part of the directed dating approach, the healthy dating step-by-step, by having the acronym set. So the dating is like a staircase. We take it step by step, a slow progress, holding on to the rail and moving progressively upwards. We want to erase the image twofold, erasing my image and erasing the images of my friends. And T, we want to learn to trust ourselves, to really dig deep and feel what is the truth. Am I feeling that this is really off, or am I feeling that this is just a general fear that I have to getting married? Ineffective dating can sometimes lead to divorce. More and more singles today really need direction. And a lot of girls are making decisions from outside pressures, their parents pressuring them, a very pushy shadchan, the fear of never getting married. So that is why having a dating coach and having the Rebbitzins program in your life is so, so important, to be able to give you that clarity and to be able to lead you through, to be able to support you, to offer suggestions, to offer connection of the dots, and to open the lights to you for clarity and for confidence. And I just want to say one thing, that girls who date successfully ultimately have a much calmer engagement period, and honestly, a much smoother beginning of the marriage, because they feel so confident that all the boxes were checked off, and they did it step by step and did not move to the next step until everything was checked off and they felt safe and secure and confident. And it ultimately leads to a much calmer existence. Okay, so now that we have that squared away, let's talk about our first date. Okay, now I'm under the assumption that once you're up to your first date, obviously you have done research, you've done, you know, you don't have to be an FBI, but I do believe that some research is definitely important. And I like to say that you should be calling at least 3 or 4 references and want to be hearing consistent information from those 3 or 4 references. So if each person is telling you something different and you're not getting a clear picture, keep calling until you hear 3 or 4 times consistent information. And then you could feel confident that this guy has a very good chance and you know, might be something, might be it. I also feel, and it's very important, and I know, you know, I'm talking to different societies, but I really feel that if we invest into checking out a potential spouse, and we spend time and we invest intellectual energy on it, I think that by the time we come to the date, you know, we worked hard, and I believe that we really want that date to happen more than just, oh, there's a girl, okay, I'll date her, you know, not finding out much about her, and then, oh, okay, not much, I'll try tomorrow night's girl. It doesn't solidify the commitment if you don't put any effort into your potential date. So that's a very important part. So by the time we get up to the first date, I presume that you've done your research, you're committed, you're serious about this, you're serious about dating, and you really hope that this has huge potential to be the right one. Okay, so let's move on to the first date. I just want to tell you a little secret before I start. Contrary to your belief, the most attractive thing that a man is attracted to in a girl is positivity and confidence. It just moves the date to a whole new level. When a girl is positive and confident, you're taking those stairs a few steps at a time, so to speak. So keep that in mind on the first date. First impressions count and are very important. And you obviously, want to talk positively about your family, talk positive things about your work, your community, pick the positive things in your life to share. Keep in mind that we're only on the first step, so there's low expectations. We're not going to be seeing stars. There's no fireworks. It's a very positive date. Again, compare it to having a Shabbos guest at your table. Compare it to meeting an acquaintance. It's a very basic level of acquaintancing. Obviously, you're going to act friendly and nice, but it is still on the first step. Let's try to make our way into the other person's windows of his world and doors to his world to get to know him. And how do we do that? Let's not just answer yes, no. Make this date an opportunity to open up those windows to his world and let your windows to your world be open. So discuss things and let it not just be a yes and no answer, because that doesn't show much at all. When meeting for marriage, there's two very important things, and specifically on the first date, it's very, very important. And the first thing is that meeting for marriage and going out on a date is not a job interview. Please do me a favor and cut the questions. Cut the questions. Rather, have a discussion and bring up different topics to discuss. And the way healthy dating is comparing to playing ball with each other. You hold the ball, you share a little bit, you throw the ball to him, he shares a little bit and he throws it back. But asking questions creates sort of a judgment, and judgment is not conducive to creating a relationship. So number one, cut the questions. This is not a job interview. And number two is you can't judge and love at the same time. So when you're meeting for the first time, I know a lot of girls, especially girls who are real thinkers and very analytical, analyze everything that this boy is doing. Why did he do that? And did he do that? And why did he order that? And how come he didn't say a nice hello to that guy? And you keep on thinking and thinking. I'm asking you a favor. Leave your Rashi brain at home. Leave your commentary brain on the shelf at home. You're going out now. It's a first date. Go have a fun time. It should be enjoyable. It should be fun. It shouldn't be a whole analytical interview, because that's obviously very off-putting and doesn't move the relationship in any way. When you come home from the date, no problem. Take that brain off the shelf and analyze all you want. But when you're on the date, a very, very good point is to enjoy yourself and have a nice time. Again, let's remember that on the first date, we're only on the first step. So it would be very damaging to jump to the 20th step. And again, analyzing if this is for me, if he's going to be a good father. We're not up to there yet. We're just on the first step. The one question I would want you to ask yourself is, when you come home, would I invite him back for a Shabbos meal? Now, if he was rude, if he spoke vulgar language, if he was creepy, I don't think you would invite him back. And that's perfectly fine. And you'll say, sorry, this is not for me. But if you had a nice time and a decent time, and it was a nice back and forth relationship, and you would be very happy to have him back at your Shabbos table, then this would be the opportunity to say yes and go out a second time and move to the next step, which Amirta Hashem, we will discuss more in depth on our next session to directive dating. Again, I just want to put it out there one more time before we open to question and answer. Being that you girls are involved in this wonderful Rebbitzins program, you really do have an opportunity to really use a lot of the services that the Rebbitzins program offers. I mean, I just touched, so to speak, a drop in the bucket. There's so much to dating, and there's a big portion on resumes, and a big portion on checking out information. And the Rebbitzins program is here to help you with all that. I hope that this has been enlightening to you. Some of you might know most of what I said, but I hope that for a lot of you this was very helpful. And Amir Hashem, I do look forward next month to continue on the relationship staircase. We will now open up for questions and answers. And let's see, who has a question that they'd like to ask? Yes, we definitely do offer dating coaching, and you can reach out to the Rebbitzins program, and they will be able to assist you with that, of who you can call to get that help. Okay, that's an excellent question. And I'm torn if I should answer it now or if I should wait to our next session, which we were going to get to. I have a five good husband criteria, that all 5 points have to be met in order for you to move on. So we will discuss it next time, but not to keep you in suspense. As far as the midas, one of the 5 good criteria is midas. And within those midas, what are the 3 most important midas? The first one is honesty. You really have to look out to see if he's an honest person that you're dating. You should be looking out for patterns, like even little white lies. You just want to make sure, and I'm sure there'll be, enough opportunity for you to see that he is an honest person. The next midah is positivity. A positive person is a very, very vital midah for a successful marriage. You'll have a much easier and nicer marriage if your spouse is positive. And the third midah is simcha. Simcha is a tremendous midah that really enhances a person's personality to be a very, very, very good husband. But again, we will delve into this 5 good criteria husband list, which is extremely important. And that's why I love this approach so much, because a girl can feel so confident, after the 3rd or 4th date. That's when I would ask and go through these 5 good criterias. And if a girl can resoundingly say yes, yes, yes to all those 5 traits and all those 5 different areas of life, she can feel so confident that this guy is a wonderful guy, and she can feel confident to go ahead and deepen her relationship with him.
Next question.
Oh, okay, so the question was, we're told to look into references, but how can we really capitalize on calling people to really find out the real information? So the first thing I'm going to say is it's very important to listen to what the person has to say. Like, don't ask 100 questions. Like, let them, you could, give a vague thing of what can you tell me about Adam? And listen, really listen to what they're answering you and listen for patterns. And that's why I said it's important to at least call 4 people to listen to patterns. If people keep saying the same things about that person, I think you could feel confident that that person definitely has those traits. So listening, and really listening is a good tool to finding out information.
Ask for examples.
Okay.
I think that's
Okay. Mrs. Sarabrowski gave a very nice tool as well, that if you're asking, for a particular me days that the boy might have, it's always good to ask for examples. Listen to the examples, and again, if you want to follow a pattern, if you keep on hearing the same things again and again and again, it's true. You really, really know it's true, and you can feel confident that he really does have these me dice.
it might be a real red flag, but maybe it's not.
Sure. And so Mrs. Sarabrowski is asking, when we spoke about the T in trust, she was asking, is this where a dating coach can really differentiate between, is it real? Is your gut feeling real? Or maybe it's something that happened to you in the past. So that's why that feeling is coming up, which shouldn't affect you necessarily in the future. So yes, a dating coach is extremely helpful in this particular situation, for many reasons. A dating coach gets to know the girl that she's working with, and she gets to know her patterns. So if she always has the same fear about every single boy, that it might be coming from a general fear. So I was once working with a girl that had a tremendous fear of the commitment. And it came out, after asking questions, and that's where a dating coach comes in. She's able to really peel away those layers to really get to the truth. And it came out that 2 of her good friends recently got divorced. And she was really afraid of divorce and afraid of commitment. But that's a fear, but that's not a real fear to stop a shidduch. That's a general fear that you have to work through. And we have a very nice way of how to peel away those layers and talk it through, and walk through the different scenarios to get you to the right place and the right choice. Being said that, another little tip is, if someone's very fearful, to move forward, a nice tip to test yourself is, do I want it more than I'm afraid of it? So yes, you might be very afraid, but do I want it even more than that? So again, that's really further down the line when you're actually making that commitment. But yes, Mrs. Sarabrowski, there is a tremendous amount that a dating coach will help to peel away these layers and to really get to the bottom of it. And I was saying before that a dating coach, spends a lot of time with the girl, and she recognizes the patterns that this girl has. So she is able, through listening to her and even through her voice, she a lot of times is able to really separate what's real and what's just a general fear. Okay, so Mrs. Sarabrowski read the question. How do we manage dating fatigue? Often when it's just on the first date. So, this is a very broad concept, but I'm going to go back to the idea of really checking in to the boy that you're going out with, and really making sure that it's in the ballpark. I mean, you don't have to be on the same page, but at least know that you're in the same chapter. If you don't do any research, then you can be in a completely different book. And if you keep on doing that, yes, the fatigue is going to come. The statistics show that getting, I mean, I hope don't get slammed for saying this, but maybe in the yeshivish Beis Yaakov world, the statistics show that getting engaged to the first guy that you go out with is much higher than the second and third, meaning every time you go out with another guy, the statistics, the percentage rate goes down. And the reason being is because that first one, you really invest that energy, you really want it to happen, you really give it all it's got, you're patient, you wait for the next step to come, and it just has a higher success of actually being successful. What I tell people who have dating fatigue is to stop dating, take 2 to 3 months and stop, because it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier. And dating fatigue comes from dating too much, too often, too much. And again, that's why I go back to my point of really making sure that this boy is in the same chapter as you before just going out with anyone. Girls, it was lovely to talk to you, and looking forward to next month, Eretz Hashem.